Britain has been working for 15 years, so why haven't wages moved? I remember the smell of farm. It was cold, mud on my boots, itching back. After 2 days of work, I walked into a shop. I stood in front of leather jacket. I asked the price. I did the maths, and I could afford it. After 2 days of work.
Welcome to Fix Britain. No politics, no lies, no propaganda, just logic and common sense for you.
But that jacket wasn't the important part. What I was really buying was the belief hard work would always make life better. I held into that belief for a long time. I was wrong. When Poland joined the European Union, Birmingham filled up. Everyone was looking for the same thing I had found. And they were right to come. Jobs everywhere. The pound was strong. Britain felt unstoppable. But then I started going back to Poland. First visit, everything was as I remembered. Second visit, now roads, new ones, new shopping centers. Third visit, a friend told me he earned more in Warsaw than in Birmingham. I smiled. I didn't believe him. But I started doing my maths. My salary in the UK was going up on paper, but every time I visited Poland, I felt poorer. Restaurants that used to feel cheap now cost the same as Birmingham. People who swore they'd never go back were going back. And a question started to follow me everywhere. I am working. Am I working less? No. Am I working worse? No. So why does I feel like I am standing still? I told myself it was inflation, then Brexit, then taxes, but none of those were explained everything. Then I found one report, one number. If UK productivity had grown since 2008 at its historical rate, just 2% a year, the average worker would be earning 11,000 more today, every year. Not stolen, not taxed away, just gone. And that is when I stopped looking for someone to blame. And I started looking for the mechanism. There is one law of economics that has held over 1,060 years. Real wages grow when productivity grows and an economy produces more. There is more to share. When it stagnates, there is nothing left to give. From 1980 to 2007, UK productivity grew at 2.2% a year. After 2008, 0.4%. That is not a small difference. That is the gap where a generation of wages disappeared. And here is the question I couldn't answer yet. Why did productivity stop growing? Because that is the real story. Productivity grows when companies invest in machinery, in technology, in better processes. After the financial crisis, something shifted. In many cases, it became cheaper to expand using relatively low-cost labor and to invest heavily in new capital equipment. Unemployment fell. The numbers looked good, but it was a trap. Because when you replace capital investment with cheap labor, each worker produces less. Productivity fails, and there is nothing left to pay more with. For 15 years, Britain didn't stop creating jobs. It stopped creating better jobs. That was the moment everything clicked. The problem wasn't that British workers stopped working hard. The system stopped investing in them. Real wages grew by an average of 33% every decade from 1970 to 2007. Today, they are back at 2005 levels. Over 16 years, real wages grew by the same amount as the last 12 months combined. 16 years, one generation of workers standing still. And then I thought about those conversations with friends. We are going back to Poland. And a few years early, that would have sounded absurd. Now, nobody was surprised. That is not a story about Poland becoming richer. That hard work here would always move you forward. And that left me with one more question I still couldn't answer. Germany kept investing. Poland kept investing. So why did one of the world's largest economies consequently choose the short horizon? The answer wasn't hidden in the one budget, one election, or one prime minister. It was hidden much deeper inside the way Britain has been governed for decades. And that is exactly what we look at next. British workers didn't stop working hard. Britain stopped rewarding them for it.